Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and welcome to a special edition of Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I'm here today to talk to you about Digimon Beat Break, episodes 1 through 15, the rundown review. So, I can only do the first 15 episodes because of the simple fact the way it is presented in English, which is very, very frustrating and stuff. I don't understand Toy, I think that's how you say their name, release strategy on this. I've never watched a Digimon series before, that wasn't part of like Saban Entertainment. And so Toei decided, okay, they're gonna release this in Japanese in 2025 on Crunchyroll. Then periodically they're gonna release about a dozen or so English dubs every couple of months or so. And so currently on Crunchyroll, only the first 20 episodes of 32 are English dub. However, I've been watching it on Hulu, and only the first 15 are English dub. And that pisses me off right there. And I thought about getting Crunchyroll because it's like $1.99 for like 3 months. But 5 extra episodes just ain't worth it. I want the whole thing in English dub. So probably towards later on this year, I'm assuming Hulu will have everything English dub. Hopefully. That's all I can say. Because this is just frustrating. Like, I want to watch the whole thing in completion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to wait because that 15th episode was stupid. It was just mindless filler and stuff. And I did not appreciate that. And so I want to know how this is going to end and stuff like that, Because this is a very different type of Digimon series, one in which I have never seen before. And I'm surprised that they took such a radical departure from Digimon, lore canon and everything, to kind of reinvent, their franchise in a way, if you will. Now, Beat Break this is the part that's also confusing. Is it the 9th or is it the 10th Digimon television series? Fans have been debating that for the longest time. Google AI, which I hate Google AI, but hey, it works sometimes, not always. It says it's the 10th. I assumed it was the 9th, but then I forgot about one series that most people tend to forget about that I just talked about just a few days ago, and that's Applemon. So technically, Digimon, I forget the whole title of the series. It's like Digimon Universe Applemon something monster, something like that. Applemon is technically a Digimon series and everything. But they don't call their Digimon or they don't call their monsters Digimon. They call them Applemon. And so I don't know the full reasoning behind that. I haven't done no research, so I think there's probably like a YouTube channel that will like explain it probably, but I just don't really know the full mechanics of why they call it the way they do. I do know that series came out around the time Digimon Tri came out. So most likely, I think what was Tri, like the 25th anniversary or 20th or something like that. So they really wanted to focus on the original old one series as they're now older and stuff like that. So they probably didn't want to distract or something like that. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But Beat Break is, I've said this before, it is a very, very, very different type of Digimon series. One in which I am conflicted because I'm liking it and I'm digging it, but I shouldn't. That's the problem. I really shouldn't like this series, but I do. I like it, I just don't love it. Now, I will say, out of all the episodes, the 10th episode is by far the best from the first 15. That 10th episode had great emotion, great story, great action, like you name it, you know what I'm saying? Like everything you want from a Digimon series, it was all up in that one episode. And it's from a character I really don't pay too much attention to. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not the main character of the series. Now, right from the bat, when I first started watching this series, I started to get a little bit of Digimon Data Squad feeling from this, or Saviors, depending on how you want to call it. Now, like I said before, I've never finished Data Squad. I gave up by like 5 episodes in. I wish I did not. I really want to watch that series so badly, but I cannot find it nowhere on the internet. And but I just started to get like those type of vibes from it because it's a small human like, group that have like Digimon. They kinda are like this type of special task force type unit. The leader of the group isn't the main focus of the show, which is crazy. Like, Marcus, he wasn't the leader, but he was the focus of the show. Also, the main focus of the show has that reptilian lizard, like dino type Digimon. And the actual leader has like, the more dog wolf type Digimon. And that's how beatbreak is. Tomoro is not the leader, but he is the main focus. He has that reptilian type Digimon, and the person who actually is in charge has more of the dog wolf like one. So, and also both focus are like, edgy and like have attitudes and stuff like that, and doesn't necessarily always get along with people. And I just find that really fascinating how it's very similar to that. But it shouldn't be too much of a surprise because they do tend to copy from other series whenever they do a new Digimon series, Normally they like to copy the Digimon, which I am so glad that the main group don't have no Digimon from a previous Digimon show. In fact, you really don't find that many previous Digimon from other series until you start to get a little bit more into the series, but they're mostly like villains and stuff, so that's okay. But I don't want a callback every time. I prefer to always have newer looking Digimon, similar to what Tamers did at one point, where they start bringing in newer designs and Digimon and like stuff like that. O2 kinda did it, but not really. And New Frontier definitely did it to an extent, but then they started bringing in like older ones, you know what I'm saying? And I'm also so glad that I don't get to see no main Digimon from like the past show voiced by somebody different. That will drive me nuts. I don't want another Agumon with a completely different voice. Like that will just drive me nuts. Or a Patamon that doesn't act like Patamon. So yeah, that I'm happy about that in that regards. Now, when you watch this series, you can clearly tell it's for a much older audience. Pretty much like my generation. I think I'm Generation X, I believe. And, my generation was around the time that '01 came out over 30 something years ago. No, what? No, it wasn't 30 years. When did it come out? About what, 28 years ago, I think it came out? Or 27 or something like that. So close to 30. And, if you were like me and you grew up with '01, and I was a teenager when '01 came out, 01, in my opinion, is awesome. It is the best Digimon series. It has the best human groups. But the problem is it's really wacky and silly with the dialogue because of the simple fact Saban Entertainment. Say what you will about Saban, but at least the man knows how to market to kids. Like he doesn't like he knows that Power Rangers, Digimon, what is it? VR Trooper, technically, oh god, what's it called? Metal Hero, and like Mass Rider, Common Rider. He knows that those are violent series. They deal with death all the time and lots of violence. And so what he does is that he makes them kid friendly and family friendly and stuff, which tends to piss off a lot of the people who watch the original ones in Japan and then later watch the ones in English and stuff or Western. And so, but yeah, in '01 and '02, the dialogue, sometimes when I was like watching that as a teen and even as an adult, I'm just kind of like, why are they saying such stupid, silly stuff? Like, this doesn't make no sense. And it made me assume the anime was exactly like that from the Japanese dub, but it wasn't. Yes, there is humor in the Japanese dub, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't overly kiddish like it is in the English dub and everything. So I totally get people's frustration and stuff with that. Because even as an adult rewatching that stuff, I'm just like, God, why are they saying that? That's like so dumb and everything. Like I just don't get it. And then when I watch like our war games from the actual like okay, it was English dub, but it was like, it took straight from the Japanese dub, but didn't change nothing. I was just like, man, they're supposed to be saying this, and that, and they're not. And it sounds so much more mature and everything. And that's how this series is. This series is English dub, but they don't change it from the Japanese dub. You see humans holding guns in this series. They will fire an actual real human earth type gun and everything. They cuss in this series. They actually let you know that custard looking pink thing that actually really is poop. They let you know that and everything. They talk about death. There are young kids in comas and everything. And yeah, it's kind of like the Viz dub of Sailor Moon and everything. They're not going to change it and they're going to keep it the way it was and stuff. And that's actually kind of cool. I'm shocked to hear that. Like I'm shocked to hear cussing in Digimon. I'm shocked to see guns and alcohol in Digimon and everything. But yeah. The voice cast, in my opinion, is awesome. They are spot on this, man. Like these people voices sound exactly the way they are drawn and everything. And I always appreciate that. When I do see the older Digimon that I recognize and they have completely different voices, now that throws me off. I don't like that whatsoever. Some of these people voices I assumed I recognized, but no, they're played by completely different people who can really mimic some other people's voices. Like the dude who does Tomoro voice, I forget his name. I think it's Yuri something. He was Nightcrawler in X-Men Evolution. I thought that was him, but it's not. It's the dude who plays the new Tai in Digimon 2020. And I'm like, whoa, he sounds just like him. And so, yeah, I think the voice cast is completely spot on. I do like the mature take of this series. Like, it is nice because I'm older now, you know what I'm saying? And as much as I love '01, sometimes it can be a little cringe because it was back in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? That's the cheesy era. But I do like that mature take. The designs. Now, I'm mixed on this Like, for the most part, everybody designs all right. Like, I'm split 50-50, you know what I'm saying? There are some people who look like they belong in a Digimon series, and then there's other people who look like they belong in another anime type series. So that part kind of throws me off. I wish everybody had that same basic design like all the other Digimon series do. It's just so weird when I see one person who looks like they belong in Sailor Moon, and then another person who looks like they should be part of some completely different anime I've never watched before, but look like they're drawn in the Victorian era. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of like throws me off. Also, the main focus does not have goggles. That's another thing that reminds me of like Data Squad. He has glasses, but not goggles and stuff. And nobody's wearing gloves on their fingers. That's like a Digimon tradition right there. And that rarely gets broken. But like, when it comes to breaking tradition, this is the part that like it should have me mad, but it kind of doesn't. So far in these 15 episodes, I've noticed something. There doesn't appear to be no digital world. None whatsoever. And I even looked this up on the internet because I'm like, I gotta figure this out. Like, is there a digi world? Is there not? No, there's not. There's no traditional digital world. There's no land full of digital monsters that live in the forest or desert or nothing like that. It is not parallel to that of Earth. And if you ever heard me talk about Digimon, then you know one of my biggest gripes about Digimon tamers is how much time they spent in the real human world and so little time in the digital world. That pissed me off because one of the things I love about Digimon is throwing a group of kids who don't know each other into the digital world and telling them to survive. That to me is just peak Digimon right there. But it's not like that for this series. This series takes place completely in the human world. And for whatever strange, bizarre reason, I'm okay with that. And I don't know why. I think it's because at least they give us what's known as the mirror world. To me, the mirror world is like their version of the digital world. The mirror world is kind of like when they're in the human world, they can slice open a parallel rift, jump through it, and they're in a different world. It looks digitalized. It looks like the what you would assume the internet will look like. You know, it's high neon colors, it's like lens flares, there's like grid patterns, there's this and that. It just looks like basic Tron type stuff, you know, like Tron from the 80s movie or whatever, and a little bit of the newer ones, the 2000 ones. And this is normally where they have their big battles at because they don't want to destroy the human world. So they'll open up a rift, go into the mirror world, and fight and duke it out right there. And it's kind of neat. And sometimes you'll see like grass or a palm tree or something like that that's digitalized and everything with neon colors. So if that's the closest I can get to the digi world, then I'm okay with that. And I think I'm okay with it because of the simple fact it's been a long time since I've watched a new Digimon series. Like, technically, the last one I've ever finished in full was New Frontier, and that was over 20 something years ago. And I'm still to this day, I am trying my best to watch Fusion. I tried again. I'm like 2 episodes in, and I want to jump through the TV and just strangle every character. Then I want to fly on over to Japan and literally ask the creators, "What the heck were you thinking?" That is Fusion is literally the only Digimon series that frustrates me. And I mean frustrates me and everything. Like I can't get into it. And I've tried like 3 times already. But I can't get into that series. And I'm still trying right now. It's just the dialogue kills me because I think Saban Company dubbed it again and everything. And then when they got to like the third arc or the third season, whatever it is, he just gave up on that because it wasn't doing that good in the ratings and stuff. And every time Saban dubs like, a Digimon series, he makes it so wacky. Except for Tamers. For some reason he didn't go nuts on that one. Now, New Frontier, that was Disney and everything. And I'm totally down with New Frontier. Like I said before, that's my second favorite Digimon series because it reminds me so much of '01. But Fusion, man, I just can't with that. Like, I just can't. And, oh no, wait. No, I take this back. New Frontier wasn't the last Digimon series I watched. 2020 was. I keep forgetting about that. So, so it's been like, 6 years since I watched a Digimon series. I keep forgetting about 2020. God, I hate that show. Like, I don't like it, but I can stomach it for the most part. And there are some episodes I'm like, all right, that's cool. But Fusion, I just can't with that series so far. Maybe if I get further in, maybe I'll like some episodes. But I remember I got pretty far the first time I watched it, and I just did not like it at all. So maybe this is why I'm giving like Beat Break a pass because there are some things in Beat Break that is just kind of irritating and it's just kind of like, hey, y'all gotta speed this up because it's only 32 episodes and that's pretty short for a Digimon series. And I'm just kind of like, how much filler and slow pace are you gonna give me? I'll get into that a little bit later. Now, as for like the Digimon designs themselves with the main characters, I like their rookie form. The rookie forms are very nice looking. They look like traditional Digimon and everything. Their champion versions are not that desirable in my opinion. They're kind of ugly. Except for that giant wolf-looking dude. I gotta get into their names later. I'm just now starting to watch the series, and Tamaro is the only one that I remember off the top of my head. But once I look the names up, then I'll be able to know if I can pronounce them, that is. But, like, so far, like, I don't like their champion designs whatsoever. I do appreciate they're bringing back the whole name ranking of in training, rookie, ultimate champion, stuff like that. I am so happy they're doing that again because I do miss hearing those phrases, you know what I'm saying? What else? Oh, Digivolution, not bad, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do like the Digivolution. It's cool. I do wish I could see them transform into their champion form, but that's kind of how the '01 never did that either. '01 would just kind of have them spin around, go into the camera, or zoom into the camera, zoom out, and then you see their champion form. So I'm okay with that. Now, I'm hoping their ultimate form, you actually get to see them transform. I'm hoping. I have no idea. I haven't even looked on YouTube to see what it looks like because I don't want to be spoiled, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I'm digging that whole Digivolution. I like the whole kind of like a heart monitor, sonic wave beat, like boom, boom. Like I love that, That's just so cool and everything. The characters themselves, like I'm really enjoying these characters, like it's a small, tight-knit group. And they are spot on in terms of personalities, which I'll get into a little bit later. Like, nobody really irritates. Well, Tamaro irritates me a little bit, but that's about it. But like everybody else is pretty cool and pretty chill and everything, and I just like really like them. They're one of my top rankings of a group, which most of the time I always like the human groups and everything. The only human group I really don't like is probably O2. The trio, I don't like them. Couldn't get into them. Um, what else? What else? Oh, the intro has a really cool music number. I really love that. I do prefer an English, like, um, intro music. If you love Japanese, like, anime dub intros, good for you. But I prefer the American ones and stuff. Those things really hit. Like Tamers, that electric beat stuff too. Oh, that's so nice. And New Frontier, man, that's an intro right there. They just sung the heck out of that song. Like, I love that. But I do like this one. I'm so glad I do actually listen to Japanese music. Because, like, I listen to K-pop and J-pop and J-rock. And so, it's soothing to my ears. And I like that. The intro itself is all right. I would like more flashy, you know what I'm saying? Like old school, but I'm totally okay with this because this is a more mature take on the series, you know what I'm saying? So I'm okay with that. Um, let's see. My gripe with this series so far. First 15 episodes, I don't know what the rest are like. I don't even know anything about the last couple. This series is a very, very extremely slow burn. I mean, it is very slowly paced and everything. It's more character dramatic and everything episodes, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's serialized and everything. It does, but it's episodic in terms of character development. And they spend a long time on character development, mostly Tamaro and everything, to where the other ones kind of get outshadowed and overshadowed and stuff. It's just like, I get it. We're supposed to really feel for this guy. And we're supposed to hate him and like him at the same time, and eventually, accept him and everything. It's similar to Davis. It's similar to Marcus. I hate Davis. Period. They did wrong on that dude. Marcus, I'm not sure because I never finished it, but I just didn't like him. Tamaro has that similar vibe to them. And so, but you get why he is the way he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like Davis, who's just a complete jerk for no reason. And I don't know what Marcus' deal is. But you don't have to spend nearly about 10 episodes, maybe 13, building him up. Like, you know what I'm saying? And his Digimon. Like, that just takes too much time. Because it's only 32 episodes and everything. And there are way too many filler episodes, in my opinion. Like that 15 episode. I don't care about those three guys with the bold haircut who have mushrooms for Digimon and look like mushrooms themselves. I don't care about them. I didn't need a filler episode with them in it. Also, that Panda Bear, Pandamon episode, those two-part episodes. The first one was kind of boring, and the second one was more alright, but it was a little too soapy for me, and it's just kind of like, it just slowed me down to where I didn't need all that. I just needed one episode, and that was it. So it is very slow paced because it's more character driven and everything. It's more dramatic. But not only that, it takes forever just to see them digivolve, which I'm just kind of like, that's another thing. I'm the type of person, I want to see digivolution in every episode. I think in the first episode we see one of them digivolve, but that's about it. But they don't start the digivolve until like the 10th episode in. And I'm just like, what the heck took y'all so long? Like, those rookies can't be that powerful, can they? And that tells me right then and there, this is not, well, I've been knew this is not for kids. If it's taking this long for them to digivolve, and not only that, but their digivices are just an egg, that tells you this is not geared for kids. They don't really care about like toy merch. It's not about like, oh, toy, 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 toy. They're actually gearing this for like an older audience and everything. 'Cause that's the thing about the older Digimon series. It was all about like, selling toys and everything and virtual pets. And this doesn't seem to be the case whatsoever. Because the Digivice, like I said before, is literally just an egg. That's it. And the Digimon, in order for them to digivolve, they have to eat the egg. So they have to eat the Digivice. So you don't see the Digivice no more after that, doing all this cool Digivice type stuff that other series have done. Because that's not the main focus of what this show is supposed to be about. Now, here's my thing also. We spent about 9 episodes getting to really know Tamaro and Gekkomon, right? But then by the 10th episode, we get to know somebody else. And it's like, hey, about time. And in my opinion, hey, that was the best episode. But, we get to know the older dude. But that one female, we really don't get to know her. But we do know what her thing is. She's about family. She should have been in a Fast and Furious movie. Which I gotta say, this is one thing I'm also liking. This group is the only group that emphasizes family. You know what I'm saying? Like other Digimon series, like old one, we know they love their family. They wanted to get back to their family. They wanted to hang out with their family. When they went back to the human world, they hung out with their family. Then it broke their hearts to have to leave their family again. But that's really the only Digimon series that had a huge emphasis on family. O2 didn't. O3 kinda. Frontier did not. And so even 2020 didn't. But this is the one main Digimon series where the group themselves consider themselves to be family. Family is a really huge theme in this series. And I like that, it's almost like they're all orphans in a way, like we know 2 stories about why 2 of them aren't with their families and they don't go to school for some bizarre reason. So that's kind of odd and weird at the same time. I know one Tamara went to school, but I don't see him go to school no more. And the other ones just don't. And 2 of them are teenagers. Well, one's a kid and one's a teenager. But I do like this emphasis of family, and they have to live with each other and cook, because that's how all Digimon series are. They're a group. They have to eat together, find a place to sleep, this and that. Here they have a place to sleep, but they cook for each other, or at least one main person cooks for them. And one's the surrogate father, one's kind of like the surrogate mother, and then you have the 2 brothers, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of neat. I do like that a lot. Oh, something else I was gonna say, but I just quickly forgot. Let's see. Now I remember. So they're not called Digidestins or Tamers or anything like that. They're called cleaners. And that's where this series' other main theme comes into. Why Digimon are here and this and that. Well, it's all about their subatomas and everything. These egg-shaped Digivices type things. Everybody has one for the most part. This series is very, very high tech. It's almost cyberpunkish in a way. And it's almost like a utopia in some parts. Like it's a utopia in the main city. Then the lower parts of the city, that's where all the poor people be at. And then further than that, it's like old school how the world used to look and everything, which a lot of those people aren't used to. And it makes you wonder how far in the future could this series be set. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could easily plug this into one of the older series and say, oh, this is just further down in the future. You know what I'm saying? And that would be neat. But it's not like that. But yeah, it's kind of like this utopia kind of setting. And Subatomas are like, these like it's basically like Siri or Alexa and everything with an AI controlling it. And AI is really big in this series. I'm surprised. I'm surprised they went that route because everybody hates AI. And there's a character here who hates AI too. Tamaro, the main character. And so the thing about this series is that these people in this world, they want you to trust your Sabatama. Your Sabatama gives you advice, you take that advice, and you don't deviate from it. Well, there are these things called eposes. That's the emotion that comes from the people. And, your Sabatama can, like, kind of radiate off it, I guess you could say, off your emotions and stuff. Well, here's the interesting thing about Digimon and why there's no digital world. Some e-pulses are so strong that it creates life through the Sabatama, and a Digimon is born. And so not everybody has a Digimon, only certain people. The problem with this is that there are some Digimon and some Digimon owners who are a bit rogue. They tend to have their Digimon do really bad stuff. And so a lot of the general populace does not like that. So there is a group known as cleaners, and they go in like bounty hunters. And this is where, when I love Digimon, I love how inventive they are with every theme in each season. And so that's what this group, Glowing Dawn, they are a group of cleaners. And so they're bounty hunters. So they have their contact person, she's all like, oh, this Digimon's been doing this and it's worth this many credits and blah, 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 blah. And so they go out, they find it, and they stop it. And so there are multiple groups that clash with one another, like typical bounty hunters and stuff. And that's really neat. Like, I've never seen that in Digimon before. And so with the Digimon, every Digimon series explains the rules of a Digimon life cycle. In 01, Digimon never die. They just, get reborn again. So they get destroyed, they turn back into eggs, they rehatch, and, it goes down the digital cycle. 03 changed all that and say, hey, when your Digimon die, that's it. It's dead. And you absorb its data information. And Frontier, it dealt with like fractal code. And you can steal a Digimon's fractal code and everything and use it for yourself. And so here, if you destroy a Digimon, you kick the crap out of his butt. Digivolve. I can't talk. Digivolve. That's it. And it turns back into its in training form. Its Sabatama pops out its mouth, and one or two things can happen. You can either take it to this facility where cleaners and Sabatama people work on like Sabatamas, this and that, and they will delete it, destroy it, boom, dead, that's it, it's gone and everything, right? Or like some people, you can take it to like this underground place and they will nurse them and rehabilitate them, having them suck off their e-pulses. Why? Because Digimon needs e-pulse to survive. That's their main source of energy, food, if you will. So, when a person's e-pulse is e-pulsing it up, then it goes into their subatama, and then the Digimon can siphon it that way when they gobble it up and everything. Or they can do it the vampire way. They can bite your behind and drain you of your e-pulse. Or as the panda did, suck it from a finger like a straw. Gross. Anyways, when they take some of your energy off, you are fine, but you're drained. If they take it all, you're in a coma and your body is cold. And some will drain you completely of your e-pulse, put in your subatama, and then take your subatama. And that's kind of what happened with Tamaro when it comes to his brother Oscar and everything. So I do like these new rules of like the Digimon, you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta have new rules. You can't just keep copying from past series and everything. And so that, seems to be like the general basis of this show. Now I'm going to get into creators, I'm going to get into character bios, and what a couple of these episodes are about. So the show was created by that of Akiyoshi Hongo and directed by Hiroki Miyamoto. So, the digivices used in this series, subatomas. So, at birth, after you are born, you are injected or implanted with some sort of microchip that connects to your emotions, your e-pulse, that connects to your subatama. They legit give these things to everybody by birth. And this reminds me of Power Rangers Time Force. And so your emotions, everything you're feeling, your energy, your rage, your happiness, your joy, all that stuff is literally just, being digitized, I guess you could say, into that chip and then transferred into your subatama. A subatama is like a little egg-shaped Alexa type of device. It's an AI type device. And like I said before, you are supposed to basically do whatever it guides you to do. And your e-pulse, normally, if it's somehow corrupted, it can affect your subatama. Now, Tamaro, his e-pulse, for some reason, it always messes up subatamas and everything. Why exactly that is, I don't know. But and the little egg-shaped thing, it has a little face to it. It has like apps. It has like a touch screen, a holographic touch screen. It can basically do whatever a tablet, smartphone device, or whatever can do. You know what I'm saying? And so it's interesting how you digivolve. You hold it with both hands. Your e-pulse is going inside it. You toss your subatama in the air. And then your Digimon devours it. It eats it and everything, gaining your energy and digivolving or becoming more powerful and stuff like that. If you are weak, if you exert your power, then your e-pulse will drain and your Digimon will drain. If you're to the brink of dying, then your e-pulse will do the same for your Digimon or whatever. And and that's really interesting because some of these characters, they like to rush in head first, draining a lot of their energy with their Digimon, and it devours their e-pulse and stuff. Now, each person's e-pulse color is completely different, and the Subatama will absorb that color and illuminate in that color when you use and activate it, say to make your Digimon Digivolve. So, characters, the 5 stars. They are an elite group of cleaners, and they show up in the intro in silhouette. That made me think, okay, these must be the villains. It must be like a good humans going against the bad humans. And that's basically kind of what it is. They are cleaners, they are very proficient, and they're not like the glowing dawn. They are just the complete opposite of them. They're edgy, they're ruder, and stuff like that. I don't know if some part in time they will be part of like the other group, but for now they're kind of like the antagonists and everything. One thing about the 5 stars is that they take elements from like the earth, fire, wind, water, stuff like that. The only one that I really know of is Kaito. He has a crush on that one female character. I forget her name. And he's just very brash, a little bit rude, very cocky and everything. They only got introduced into like one episode before like that 15th episode. So I don't really know too much about them. And, but like he's like the cocky one and everything. Maki, she is a bartender who is kind of like the handler of the Glowing Dawn. Every time, there's a Digimon up for bounty and everything, she lets them know and how much credits they can get. So far, that's the only thing I know about her. This guy, I forget his name, but he's the cab driver, and he's friends with the Glowing Dawn and drives them around. He has these horizontal like heart-shaped shades and everything, a gold tooth, and tends to dress in Hawaiian shirts. Hitomi, this is a classmate of Tamaro, and when he touched her Sambatama, his e-pulse corrupted it and caused it to malfunction and stuff. And it's to the point where those Digimon went after her because they thought, that was him. And they drained her of her e-pulse. This devastated him because she was in a coma. But once he found out that all he has to do is get her e-pulse back, he went on a mission to find that Digimon. And find him he did and got her e-pulse back. Pandamon and his cleaner, Sasa Taiki? I don't know how to say that. They are an interesting bunch because there was a 2-part episode with this. When Tamaro wandered into an old-fashioned type town, which was interesting because he said they don't make towns like this no more. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, it looks like a typical Asian, market and everything. But this is just how advanced this show, cyberpunk, technology and imagery is and stuff. Now this would be considered something that's never made anymore. Pardon me. And so these two are very interesting. They share a father-son kinship to where the elder man is the protector of the town. He's like this old muscular man who's all about honor and and protecting those who can't protect themselves. But he's getting older. Some point in time, he gave birth to that Pandamon. Or Pandamon just kind of wandered in and they just bonded instantly. It's one of those two things. I'm pretty sure he gave birth to him, which is odd because nobody in that town has a Sabatama. But anyways, they love each other so much that he kind of like adopted him as like a son. And so he even gave Pandamon clothes and stuff, his own clothes to wear. And together they protect the town. Now, Pandamon takes the old dude's like e-pulse by sucking like his finger or biting him. So I'm pretty sure he did not give birth to him, because if he did, he would have had a subatoма, he would have had the implant and stuff like that. So he takes it vampire style. And so, but the older this dude is getting, then, the less e-pulse he can give to Pandamon, which is making Pandamon much, much slower. Pandamon bonds with that of Geckomon. And so, to the point where they call each other siblings. This gives Geckomon a new sense of identification and understanding what family means, because so far he's not getting that with Tamaro. And so, with what E-Pulse he has left, Pandamon and Geckomon, they defeat, the bad guys and stuff. And at that point, Pandamon decides to go back to the older man and taking his clothes once again, because he had gave them back because, the old dude told him don't fight no more, this and that. But Pandamon must. He would do exactly what the old man would do. No matter how old, how weak you are, protect those who can't protect others. Even the old man was about to sacrifice himself by giving himself to the mob and say, don't harm nobody else, don't harm Pandamon, just take my life and everything, The dude's willing to die just to let Pandamon die. It's a very, very touching story, but it is a bit sappy and soapy and everything. These guys are cleaners, they're jerks. I don't know their name. They ambushed the glowing dawn, and I think they tried to capture somebody at one point, but then they have a redeeming arc in episode 15. I could care less about them and why they have bowl cuts and looking like mushroom people and stuff like that. Yamada, she is a cleaner, and her Digimon is Shademon, one of the most deadliest Digimon ever, because Shademon can literally jump into your shadow, whether you're a human or Digimon, and take over your mind and make you do the most horrible, deadliest stuff. But Shademon is actually nice and will do anything Yamada will ask of it. But Yamada is very rude and very mean. See, she was born in Shangri-La as well, but got kicked out because her dad embezzled money. He's a little crook, and he uses his daughter to clean and bounty up a lot of money and this and that for his own nefarious deeds and stuff. They live very poor. They take over other folks' homes and eat their foods and stuff like that. And I think the father's end game is to get his own Sabatama and everything off the black market. And so he treats his daughter basically like crap. She doesn't live with their mother. And after the confrontation with the glowing dawn, she finds out that her father has been using her and everything. And this breaks her heart, and she asks Shademon to basically combine with her and no, not combine with her, but just erase all of her memories of what her father told her. She doesn't want to remember anything. She only wants to have happy thoughts, this and that, and just erase everything. So Shademon combines with her, merges, and goes all Digimon Tamer Jerry and everything. It infuses with her and turns her all demonic looking. And so I'm like, holy crap, I haven't seen this since Tamers and stuff. Thankfully, the glowing dawn and what did I say that guy's name was? Was it the 9-year-old boy, what's his name? um Makoto. And so it's him who has to save her and everything. And once he saves her, they want her to be a cleaner with them, but she decides to go and live with her mom, believing that the stuff that her father said about her mom may not have been true. She has a very tragic episode, and I'm just like, holy crap. In my opinion, even though I haven't seen the other rest of the episodes, hers is by far the best. Asuka, he is the brother of Tamaro, and he's a little bit older than Tamaro, and he takes care of his younger brother because both their parents were arrested for mysterious reasons unknown. And so he literally had to like drop out of school and everything just to support his little brother. He's very caring, a bit stern and stuff like that. And he is friends with this one dude's name I can't think of, who's the leader of the Glowing Dawn. In the first episode, after like Geckomon was born and stuff like that, they were attacked by these two Digimon that looked like twin dogs and everything. And during the battle, he falls, which I assumed at first was to his death, but he didn't. And it turns out that what it was is that his e-pulse was completely drained inside his Sabatama. And this one Digimon stole it and gave it to his partner and stuff. So this has been the main drive for that Tamaro and everything, to find his brother's e-pulse and save his life. Kaio, so he is the best friend or really good friend to that of Asuka, and he is also the leader of the Glowing Dawn. He acts like kind of like a surrogate father to Glowing Dawn. He's a young man. He's very kind, very soft-spoken, very calm demeanor, and he enjoys to cook. Even though he has a calm demeanor, the dude, when you piss him off, he will get extremely aggressive. He used to be part of the 5 stars back in the day, but then later left the group. His main thing is that they do not destroy Digimon. When the Digimon are defeated, he takes them to a shelter where he allows the in-training Digimon to feed off of his impulse, constantly draining him, which is why he's always mysteriously missing and everything from action. He is a bit of a prodigy, very smart, and his look does not look like a typical Digimon character look. He looks like he should be in Sailor Moon. In fact, he looks like one of the 7 knights of heaven and everything. Like, he reminds me of them, and cause he has that very feminine type look to him. Even in the intro, it looks like he's posing very femininely and everything. And so he's a very enduring type person to take in, like, his cleaners and basically give them a home in this like abandoned like warehouse type apartment type thing. And he's nice enough to constantly cook for people. But he is a very good cleaner. Like, he is very proficient with that of his Digimon. His Digimon, whose name I can't even begin to pronounce, Muro Ransomimon or something like that, is his Digimon partner. And like, that dude can kick butt. Reina. So she is kind of like second in command of the cleaners of the Glowing Dawn. She is a bit of an older teenager, and it's never explained what the heck happened to her parents. She has a bit of a temper. She's a bit hot-headed, likes to rush into things. But family means the most to her. Like, because like I said before, we don't know what happened to that of her family. So she's made herself her own surrogate one. And it's just very important to her. When Tamaro is constantly abandoning them to do his own thing, it really upsets her and everything. And she's always bringing up about like, oh, why isn't he with the family and bonding with the family and family? Like, I can't wait until they explain more what the heck happened to her family and why she is the way she is. Now she does fish because the Glowing Dawn don't have much money and they have to struggle, so they have to fish in order to eat. And she's one of the main ones that fish. And so she likes to be the one who's very impulsive in a fight and drain a lot of her e-pulse and stuff. Now, her look is very traditional, like Digimon. I'm really digging her look. Her hair, I like the top part. The bottom part, nah. Now, her Digimon is Pristimon. And I don't know what she is. She's either a fox or a cat-like Digimon. The rookie one looks kind of like cat-like, but kind of fox-like. And when she digivolves into champion, she looks kind of dog-like. So that's kind of interesting. They'll have two canine type like Digimon on the team. Now, Reina is like second in command of, like I said, the cleaners. This is interesting because I don't think I've ever watched a Digimon season where the female is second in command and has to take leadership whenever the leader is not there. And Kaio is always gone, so she always has to take front and center. Maybe Data Squad, but like I said before, I never finished that, so I'm not really sure. However, even though she is second in command, it always feels like Tamaro is always in command of the group because the show focuses on him. Makoto, he is the youngest of the group, about 9 years old. This dude does not look like your traditional Digimon character. He looks like he's wearing clothes from the Victorian era and looks like he should be in a completely different anime series. He is a prodigy, very smart. He has these goggles similar to Sailor Mercury that can scan things. And he is always analyzing, scanning, doing this and that. So he's kind of like the Izzy of the group. And the person voicing him sounds like Izzy, but is not. And the 10th episode focuses on him. And my God, that's an amazing episode. Like I said before, that episode cooked beyond my expectations and stuff. And so, like, it turns out that he is from wealth, very rich and everything. Born in Shangri-La, the egg spear thing, where only the rich upper class gets to live and this and that. And so, like, he knew this girl there, and I already talked about her. And so it turns out the reason why he got kicked out is because he gave birth to a Digimon and he kept it, which you're not supposed to do there. So he left and became part of the Cleaning Dawn. And so he's very kind, very considerate, but he helps this girl overcome the pain and tragedy that, her father has inflicted on her and what she has caused, with her Digimon and stuff. And we get to finally see his Digimon Digivolve. And his Digimon is Chiropmon, I think that's how you say it, or Chippermon, or something like that. Tamaro, so he is the main focus of this show, but he is not the leader. He has a very traditional Digimon character look with spiky hair and everything. No goggles, but glasses. He loves to drum, but he is not very trusting of people because of his parents getting arrested. Not only that, but he hates AI technology. He doesn't want a Sabatama, and like every time he will touch one, somehow it corrupts it. There is something going on with his epos that is yet to be explained. And so he ends up corrupting his friend's epos, like a Sabatama, like I said. And it's to where she got attacked and he ended up saving her. When his brother got like, comatose and everything, this dude just lost it. He's very frantic, screams a lot, very like he reminds me so much of Joe. Even looks like him a little bit from '01. And he's always like frantic and stuff like that. His Digimon is Gekomon, and him and Gekomon, they do get along, but Tamaro can be very mean because he's very unfriendly and untrusting to people, and he hates technology. And of course, Digimon are digital creatures made from Sabatamas and stuff. To the point where he got so mad at him that he basically shouted at him so much that it hurt Gekomon's feelings and stuff. Over the course of like the series, he does learn to be a much better person. Learning to accept other people, learning to trust other people, and just understanding what it is to be human again, if that makes sense. Every time a classmate of his gets their epos drained by a Digimon, he feels, what do I call him? He feels like entitled to help that person, especially that one girl who he touched her Sabatama, and then that Digimon attacked her for that because that Digimon assumed she was Tamaro and everything. It is interesting that he is not like the leader, but he reminds me a bit of Marcus. Now, one thing that Tamaro loves to do is doing things on his own. He doesn't like the structure and rules that are set out by Kaio and stuff, Kaio. And so, like, he doesn't understand why he's not allowed to destroy Digimon. And not only that, but like, he just wants to help his brother, and that's the only thing he wants to do. But of course, they have to get like bounty on other Digimon, this and that. So he feels like, what, screw that. I'm going off on my own and doing things my way and stuff. He gonna go by the beat of his own drum. And even though he is a bit of a prick, he's a heck of a lot better than Davis, in my opinion. Because Davis was just too unbearable. But it does suck that he's not the leader and, like, couldn't learn that life lesson the same way Davis did. Gekomon is a reptilian type Digimon, partnered with that of Tamaro. He's very joyful and very playful and everything. And he loves to end a sentence with, got some black in him. You know what I'm saying? Now, he is the first and only Digimon in existence to eat human food in this new reality and everything. Pretty much every Digimon just eats impulse. But for whatever reason, he eats food and he loves it and he will not stop eating. He is kind of like the mirror image in a way to Tamara. When we first see him, he's angry, he's scary, ferocious, but he's very lovable and nice. And that's kind of how Tamaro is. He comes off as mean and everything, but he is loving and stuff. So I can't wait to watch the rest of Beat Break whenever the English dub comes out on that of Hulu, because it's a pretty enjoyable show. It's not your traditional Digimon show, but like I said before, I'm okay with that for some bizarre reason. It's been a long time since I watched actual Digimon show that was actually decent. 2020 was not great whatsoever, and it should have been. And so, like, I am very curious to see how this story is going to end. I hope each episode following that 10th episode and the other ones will get like more and more juicier. But if they're like episode 15, then like we ain't got time for filling. There's only 32 episodes, you know what I'm saying? Happy Asian and Pacific Islander month, everybody. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.